Terrified, or Aterrados, I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but I thought I'd give it a go, is a 2018 Spanish language horror movie from Argentina, written and directed by Demian Rugna, and it stars Maximiliano Ghione, Norberto Gonzalo, and Elvira Onetto. It's subtitled in English, which is how I watched it. I don't know if there's a dub version, as I didn't check, but if subtitles are really not your thing, there's potentially some good news for you coming up at the end of the review. It's a paranormal horror which centres around a particular suburb where various sinister events start to occur, which in turn leads to a group of paranormal investigators coming together to try and figure out what's happening and to prevent things from getting worse. It doesn't waste any time establishing itself as a horror film. It opens with the first of many creepy and unsettling scenes, and then at only 8 minutes into the film we witness this other really wildly horrifying sequence that's still stuck in my head now, almost 2 weeks later. The scares come thick and fast for most of the film. There's an exception with the middling part where the investigators set up around the apartments where all these weird occurrences are starting to happen, which were a bit reminiscent of the scene in Insidious where the team set up their equipment and do the same sort of thing. It counts for about 25% of the film, although the film itself is just shy of an hour and a half, so the pacing change is comparatively brief and doesn't kill the momentum. Some of the scares do come via well-established tropes. We've got figures lurking under beds, then disappearing into wardrobes. We've got spooky dead kids. We've got ghosts rearranging furniture, and creepy voices coming from plug holes, all of which might have felt a bit cliched had they been directed by someone less skilled at horror than Rugna. It's all familiar, but these tropes are used in such a manner that they feel fresh, and most importantly, they still manage to scare you. And the horror never gets overused to the point of boring, partly because the narrative deals with different threads of the story by jumping it to different points in time. So when the scares in one situation could potentially become a little bit overwhelming, you're suddenly in a different place with different characters and the horror feels new again. Some of the film's key horror scenes revolve around really genuinely heartfelt scenarios. The leads and supporting cast really get their teeth into it and manage to play them out beautifully and convincingly. Pablo Isola's score is excellent. It adds another layer to the horror by driving up the suspense, only to get you jumping out of your seat as the noise culminates in crescendos of strings. Again, a little bit reminiscent of Insidious. So, in summary, the film knows what it is from the first frame. It's unapologetically a horror film. There's just enough time spent on introductions for it to get on with the important business of trying to scare you, which it did me a lot, without it feeling like the non-horror elements were tacked on as an afterthought. Onto that potentially good news for you non-subtitly people. It is getting an English language remake. I'm saying English language, I can't even say the word English language. It's getting an English language remake, but the original director is back in the chair, and it's being produced by Guillermo del Toro. So if for whatever reason subtitles wouldn't work for you, you will still get to see what I imagine will be a really good alternative version of the story soon. In the meantime, it is streaming on Shudder. Please check it out, show it some love, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. If you enjoyed my very short review, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. It's a very new thing, this channel. I'm trying to grow it a little bit. So yeah, thanks for listening.